Welcome to the first episode of the Reach for More campaign series, where we go through the journeys of women in leadership and how they overcame challenges along the way. I'm Tomisin, and today I'm joined by Angela, who is building an inspiring career, overcoming these challenges, and inspiring women in leadership along the way. Thank you for being here. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Thank you for having me. My name is Angela Nigo. I I work for the NHS for the past 5 years. I've worked in a project management role. Been involved in several project implementations that I enjoyed. But very recently, I made another change to go into something I'm very passionate about. So
Oh.
currently, I work in an advisory capacity in our corporate human resource team.
Can you share your personal views on breaking barriers that women face in the workplace?
Oh yeah, that's a very profound question. Resilience is something I think everyone needs if you want to live a life of significance and make an impact in life. When it comes to barrier could be internal, could be personal barriers, it could be cultural, societal barriers. Someone's barrier could be internal. It could be women struggle with self-doubt, believing they are capable to get things done. Women struggle with insecurities. Not every woman, though, but most women do. What we call the imposter syndrome, constantly limiting ourselves in our minds and in our capabilities. So that kind of transcends to how the next person sees you. So whether they are the same gender or the opposite gender, because when you're doubting yourself, it comes across in what you do and how you present and show up.
Yes.
The second barrier I talked about, the societal barrier. Whether we like it or not, there's still that problem where women are stereotyped to be weak, to be just different things. So you still have that. But I must say, in the recent years, things have changed a lot. So we've had global leaders that were women who have done incredible things, make their mark in the world. So those ones are continuing to be inspiration for those of us who are still on our way. The last barrier I would like to talk about is the external barrier, which then has to do with opposition around you, limitations and all of that. So I talked about resilience earlier. You can't do anything significant without resilience. So by this external barrier, I mean things like the workplace balance. Because if you're a woman, you're building a family. At pivotal point in your career, you have to leave work to go give birth. You're pregnant. There are other
Yes.
things that tend to impede on your journey. But if you're resilient, if you're determined, when you bounce back from such breaks, you still continue to build and to push through that. As long as your goals are defined, you know what you want, you know where you're going, and you're also patient with your journey. It's also very important to know that I am different from my male colleague, and my path is also different. So that mindset enables you to break through all of those different kind of barriers and still, achieve a significant life. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I think what really stood out for me was when you made mention of those stereotypes, those internal things that women go through at work. I think it's about time that we start discussing these things and looking forward to the solutions. So we move forward and we'll be talking about the challenges that you face as a woman stepping into a leadership role.
I think the first one for me was the lack of representation. We didn't have so many women who could act as role models in those kind of spaces. So it was challenging in that regard. Things have changed in the recent years where we're having more women now all around the world championing change and making a difference in the different spaces where we play. So I did have that. I also had moments where I questioned myself, like
Mm.
it's been a journey. So that same lack of confidence and the inner struggles that we all have oh, am I able to do this? Like I'd already shared in my journey, those responsibilities came on me where I wasn't looking for them, so to speak. And great people don't see themselves.
Mm.
So most times, what you're worried about, what you're, beating yourself down for, is not the way the other person is seeing you. So I faced that as well. Another challenge, I've talked about stereotyping, so I'm not going to talk about that again, is the lack of capability. There will be seasons and positions and responsibilities that you're not capable of handling or delivering on, because leadership, like John Maxwell would define it, will be influencing people towards a shared goal, achieving things through people. So it is very, very different. So in this context, having an understanding of your gaps, I like to say mind your gap, so you know where your gaps are. I knew where mine was and acknowledged it, went to work. My personal development, knew exact things that I wanted to work on, and went to work on them.
Thank you very much for that. So, I want you to talk to us about how you overcame this workplace barriers along the way.
I think for me, the very first thing is that I had a compass for my life. I like to use the word vision about the life I wanted for myself. So it kind of kept things in perspective for me. It kind of governed the things I gave my mind to. It governed the activities I also invest my time and resources on. So with that, I very much early on mapped out the areas I wanted to develop in. So while working, delivering my day to day, those development goals were still by the side. Some of them would involve you stretching, late night studying, would involve you reading. And with a woman that has a family and other responsibilities, it was tough. It was stretching. But because of the vision I'd already set out for myself, it was easy to stay the course. And I'm still on that journey. Another way that I'm still overcoming those challenges is to continually evolve, um, building and evolving to better versions of myself, whatever that looks like in the role I'm in per time. I don't like being limited. I don't like being put in a specific box. This is the only thing
Yeah.
you can do and not the other. And in my introduction, I've mentioned in the different fields I play. So I am still on that journey. Anything I set my mind on, just being focused on that, empowering myself so that if someone is giving me a seat on the table, you're not giving me a seat on the table because you want to tick the box on inclusion. I'm earning the seat on the table because of what I bring to the table. Okay. So that mindset enables me to sharpen myself in a way that everything I'm involved in, I'm effective at it, I'm delivering at it, and I'm bringing the results expected of me. I also push myself out of the comfort zone. So I try new things. I don't make excuses for bad, things that are less than excellent. So I push myself out of my comfort zone. I leverage on expertise of the people around me. So people who are already doing things I want to do.
Yeah.
I ask questions, I ask for development. I'm very, very teachable. I can learn from everyone. So that's helping me. Another thing I've kind of touched on, but I would like to language differently, is changing my paradigm. I've changed my paradigm from, oh, women are, this bias and all of that. So changing my paradigm helps me focus on my effectiveness where I am. So not flipping the script so that I'm not focusing on the problem.
Yes.
Yes, I want to be the change I want to see. So if someone has always been biased over, let's say, giving women opportunities and all of that, and they come in contact with me, their experience with me would either encourage them to give more opportunities to women or not. So just bringing my best to those kind of scenes has also helped and continuing to help. Another thing I call radical candor is the fine balance between love and truth. Okay. So finding people in my life that says to me, you're great at this, you're great at this, but you have a problem here. So they love me enough not to leave me the way I am. So I ask for feedback. I love to hear what people think of the things I do. And those feedback have allowed me gain insight into things I wouldn't have known any other way. So that is helping me a lot. And finally, I do a lot of reflection. I'm introverted by nature, so
Mm-hmm.
I spend a lot of time with myself. I reflect, I learn from every experience. So whether it's negative or positive, so learning from things I could have done better, and even the things that I think I've done well. Because when you're great at something, you can be genius at it. So not just focusing on my weakness and the things I'm not doing well, but also looking at those things that you do well, that you're great at, and like, oh wow, how do I get this to, how do I take it to a genius level,
Yeah.
so to speak? So that's helping me.
Thank you so much for sharing your story today. And according to Angela, don't focus on the problem, be the change you want to see. So, we have come to the end of today's episode. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.